Let me close that. And we're live. Geoff, thank you for being here, everyone. Thank you for tuning in today. Agents Who Win want to bring back as much value as we can. I'm Todd Schroth with Homes by Team Schroth in the Orlando, Florida market. Geoff, I wanted to thank you again for popping on quick today. You have a unique proposition you're bringing to people, 5 clients in 5 days, or 5 referrals in 5 days. And
right.
I jumped on your call earlier today and actually gained a lot of value out of that, what you just had there. So I kind of wanted to dive in and let you take over and just kind of share some ideas of what you have going on next week.
Yeah, right. So next week we got I think close to 100 people now, Todd, taking the challenge. We'd love to get 200 or 300 people. It's totally free. From my perspective, 2020 has been really it's been a great year for us, but it's been a tough year for most people. And it's a good year to give back to people. And so what we put together was, well, let's look at some of the things that we've done with our clients that have really helped them generate business fast.
Okay.
And let's put the best parts over 5 days and just give it away to people. And of course, if they want to work with us, that's great. But let's be really generous. And so that's the goal: 5 clients in 5 days. And we've had it happen before, and we'd love to have it happen for people on the call. So come along and join it.
What's the trick behind getting 5 clients in 5 days?
Right. So everything we do is based on trying to keep things as simple as possible, because if an agent is forced or thinks they're forced to be too busy in terms of too many different lead sources, and they get scattered and all over the place, especially relationally. And so an analogy I sometimes use, it's a little bit of a story, but I'll tell you, is imagine that different year, and it's Black Friday after Thanksgiving, not COVID year, and you've been given a job, and this person's been given a job, and they're working at Macy's in New York, and it's their first day on the job, and they don't really know what they're doing. They put on their running shoes, and they run through the store as fast as they can, and all they do is they touch people on the shoulder, and they're like, "Hello, how are you? How you doing?" And just move on. Just touch people. At the end of the day, they come to their manager. They go, "I did great today. I touched 15,321 people. I did an awesome job." And the manager would say, "No, you did a terrible job because you weren't still long enough to connect with anybody." And so what we see in terms of building out referral networks, building out lists of people that would do anything to help you, is agents get so busy on different social media channels everywhere that they don't stay still long enough to build really meaningful relationships that can generate large amounts of business for them year after year. And so what we use is say, hey, let's use the most basic social media tool you have, your Facebook profile, and let's get you building relationships. Let's get you talking to people in real life, but starting the process on Facebook, if that makes sense.
It does. I mean, yeah, and you can get lost because, behind Snapchat and Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and whatever else is out there. I mean, my primary concentration is on Facebook, but then obviously it's nice that now that Instagram feeds to Facebook and vice versa. And I think I've got 3 weeks worth of messages I got to respond back to in LinkedIn because I haven't been on there, and we've got a campaign going on there. So it's like you got to block time to do it as well. Right,
you do. Using your time well is really important, but also simplifying structures. And one of the things that we did we have like 145 people use our methods sort of more permanently. And just for your people listening, just so you think about this, is clearly this week, unless you have been living with your head under a rock in the United States, it's a bit of a crazy week, right? And so what we tend to do is kind of think, well, I won't do any outreach to people, or I'll keep my head down because I don't want to have political discussions with people, etc. I asked the people in our group, in one word only, how are you feeling right now? And they were like anxious, sad, frustrated, happy, excited, right? Whatever. If I asked them that last week, they would have been like, I'm all right. I'm okay. Yeah, pretty good. Right. And so the emotions are high. Now, what that means is, and this is where not many other people would teach you this, I don't think, or explain it this way, but whenever the normal fabric of life is broken or disrupted, people become extremely open relationally to connection. And if you think about things like loyalty and things like that, what people do when times are tough is what builds loyalty. Anyone can be good to you when everything is going well, right? But if someone shits on you, pardon my language, but if they do that when times are tough, you remember it. You're like, I was down, and they're like, I was in hospital, I was in hospital recently, and they didn't even come and visit me, right? You'd be like, that's horrible. So we remember what people do when times are tough. And so as an exercise, wasn't to get political, we got people in our group to reach out via text message or messenger. Just say, let's stop the call right now. Let's spend 10 minutes messaging as many people as you can, especially people who you think might be a little finding this time hard or be worried or anxious, just people in your sphere. One lady, Lynn, she messaged, not in 10 minutes, but over that day, she messaged 60 people. Do you know how many replies she got? 55 people replied. 55 people replied to it. 55 business owners replied to it. A week ago, probably would be like 25 out of 60.
Right.
One lady messaged 10 people. Someone messaged her back, ignored the how are you, said, oh, so thank you so much for reaching out to me. I'm thinking of buying a house. So random, right? But this like ability to connect is really strong here. And if you can do it in the right way, you can really build some solid relationships and get conversations going. And if you're talking to people in a meaningful way, you'll sell. And if you're not, you won't.
So what's the message that they're sending to get those responses?
Just depends. Like the idea was to not, you didn't want to get into a political discussion necessarily. If someone wanted to rant to you on the phone and you're happy with that, that's okay. Letting someone vent is quite a good thing in relation. But normally it depends. Like one lady said, how you doing, girl? Like she used her own language. I asked her what she said. Were you drinking last night? I was. Like, depends on the relationship, right? You wouldn't send that to probably a 95-year-old lady. She'd be like, yes, I was.
Yeah.
But just the general, like, hey, I'm thinking of you. Some people sent it to someone who they knew had completely different views than them and said, hey, I know we think differently, but I'm wondering how you're doing. Like, be a really good human being. Like, but make it about the person. Make it about the human. And that's what 2020 has been great for people. If you're brave enough to really take care of people and really build your referral network.
Well, it's, we've had a very good year this year. I mean, thankfully for us, and, it's been a lot of repeat and referral. It's just been, getting in touch with people, checking in on them during COVID. How are you doing? Can I do anything for you? Et cetera, et cetera. And, it's created a lot more repeat and referral and new business for us from people we haven't talked to in quite a while. So that's been a blessing for us. So it's just like, and it's the message for us has just been simple, checking in. It's not, hey, do you want to buy a house? Do you know what he's looking at doing? Yeah. But as long as you can get your name in front of them, you will stay top of mind.
Right. And there's also other ways. So there's sort of 3 basic calls you can do when you get people on the phone, I think, in 2020. One is the traditional cold call. People in New York, places like that can't even do that, right? But one is like cold call. It's more about real estate. Pretty dangerous if you were doing that on Wednesday after the election.
Right.
Or in the middle of coronavirus. Some people are going to get angry. We had someone do it. And they're like, dude, my dad is in a hospital. How could you be cold calling me right now, right?
Right.
Like,
you don't know. Are you going to stalk everybody when you're calling them?
Yeah. So you have cold calling, not really a good idea. You have care calling where you're just checking in with people. That's pretty good too. That's better, much better. But then you also have, and that's great. If that's all you do, that's wonderful. But then you can also do solution-based calls, which are more about you really listening to find out what the person needs. So, and having a solution that doesn't take you a lot of time. So, for example, if you had a bunch of people on your phone who are virtual schooling their kids, like you think they've got kids at home, and you have managed to create or find a document which is like 2020 Parent Survival Guide to Surviving Virtual Schooling or something like that. And you get on the phone and you find out what's their problem. The problem is, I'm running my business from home. The kids are here. I'm just going crazy. I don't know what to do. And you're like, dude, I put it together this funny survival guide. It's got some good tips on how to survive. Would you like it? Then you're kind of giving them a little bit of a solution to their problem. Now, it's not specifically a real estate problem, but if it's something that you relate to, why not have a solution? Maybe there's someone they could talk to about their business. Whatever the problem is, trying to offer solutions as well as care.
Well, I think you can have some fun with that too. And, you can ask your friends. I'm just thinking of a post right now on Facebook. Who's homeschooling their kids right now? We've got a treat for you. And, either hand deliver a basket of wine or something for them. Enjoy your night, enjoy your evening. It's probably been a long 4 months. I'm just thinking about what else you could do with that. But if you create the guide and there's a value add you can give to them.
Right. It's just, the fridge magnet might not mean so much to somebody right now, but a bottle of wine might be like,
it might be a lot better. Well, we had somebody at, my wife is part of this group that, and I don't know how she got involved in it or what, but somebody in the neighborhood or in the community had put this together. But we got ding dong ditched, and we walked outside, and I saw this mom pulling off in a van or in a Suburban, and there outside was a basket of wine and cups and some popcorn and like a little party basket. And so I'll take that ding dong ditch every day. But it's funny, you see these 40-year-olds run into their cars after they drop something off. But it's fun because it started. Now she's got to go do that to somebody, and they start the momentum of pushing that out there.
Right. I mean, now's a great time to be a good human. In general, whenever there's anything like people are afraid, scared, frightened, worried, anxious, whatever it is, sad, it's a great time. It's not good for them. It's not good. It's not a good thing, but it's a great time to do something good for someone because it means a lot. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Now, I wanted to talk about, I guess the message you want to send is you want to see who the person is and what you would send to them. I mean, you're not going to call everybody and ask the same thing. So you find the right message to shoot to them. And I mean, are you like on the Facebook, as coming from the agent side of things, are we trying to message out to agents, to clients? What would your suggestion be there?
That's a really good point. And so it's a much bigger question than maybe you realize. So I'll keep it simple. Most of the time we think with Facebook, like who should you be connected to is the first question. Most agents, it doesn't apply always, but most agents will be connected to, I'll say to them, how many Facebook friends have you got? They'll say 2,000. And I'll say, and how many of them are in real estate? And they'll be like, well, I think about 1,600.
Yeah.
And I'll say, okay, so, about 80% of your Facebook sphere are agents. What percentage of your income comes from agents? And they're like, well, maybe 10% referral. I'll be like, wow, 80% of your sphere, 10% of your income. Wouldn't it be great if you were connected to way more local people who, 5, 6, 7, 800, sometimes even 2,000, 3,000 local people who whenever the term real estate came up in conversation, they said, you got to talk to Todd. Wouldn't that be great for your business? You probably wouldn't have to do very much marketing at all. And so what we want to do is help you connect to the right kinds of local people who share your challenges in life, your values, perhaps your passions, your hobbies, that live in the right price point, whatever it is for you that makes sense. Let's try and connect you with the right people that will resonate with you, because when there's resonance, they're far more likely to refer. And so we have to do quite a bit of work with people to help them figure that out often in our more major work. But if you think about it simply, your favorite client that you ever worked with, the person you're like, oh my God, that was so much fun, or that was really enjoyable, they're really grateful, we got on really well. Wouldn't it be awesome if you were connected to way more people like that? Yes.
Of course.
So let's try and find them and use Facebook to do them. So our goal is to help you attract way more local people. Now, the same thing works for agents if you're trying to build your downline, which I know many people are, but you want to be really specific in who you're building your downline with. It's not just anybody. Take people that you're going to really love partnering up with, helping, mentoring, whatever it is. Find people in the areas that you think are good for you, maybe with a certain level of success, maybe not, maybe new agents if you love helping them, but find people that you love. Just be specific. Don't add bunches of agents and think it's going to miraculously work for you. It won't.
On the agent side of things, it's like if, I've got 3,300 friends on my Facebook, probably half clients, half friends, half agents, and then some mortgage lenders thrown in there. But it's a nationwide network of people. So, you want to target the agent side to build your sphere of referral business.
Right.
And the local stuff is, I'm getting, and I want to go back and say, even on the national level, because I went to high school down here and I've got my friends kind of spread out. So I'm getting referrals from our friends in California down to Florida. Hey, my mom's thinking about selling. She's still in the area, or et cetera, et cetera. So, you got to find ways to reach them all. Now, Facebook is very specific on who they target when you post something. So are you hitting a message out there, or are you just trying to like hit their, on their birthdays, message them? How are you trying to, I guess, target that?
There are so many different ways to get relationships offline that we have. I think there's like 8 or 9 different ways, but essentially there are multiple ways. Birthdays are one way, right? But you're always looking for an excuse to take people just from generic Facebook, from your friend list, to Messenger, to phone call. That's the process. And so the first question to ask is, how do I get people into Messenger? Well, birthday messages are a great way to do that. And then in Messenger, what you're trying to figure out is this person right for a phone call? Like, are they one of my people? Are they someone that would maybe either refer me or work with me locally? If they're not, and you can figure that out, like, oh, they live in another country, for example, maybe that would be a reason not to, or they're just really rude. That would be a reason not to try and get them on the phone. But you want to like limit it so your phone calls are really enjoyable and more likely to bring success. So we have a strategy that's like 25 Facebook Messenger conversations to 10 phone calls. From those 10 phone calls, 1 client, 3 referral partners. And then the other 6 will probably be just nice to talk to.
Okay. What's a good strategy? I guess you said there's about 8 or 9. So what's like 1 or 2 top ones that you can kind of give us some advice on?
Sure. So one of the things we teach is like a warm content handshake. So what that means is you create a piece of content that gets people to put their hands up to say that they resonate with you. So supposing I live back in New Zealand. I don't. I'm in Los Angeles. And one of my group of people is rugby players, people who love rugby. And I create a post. I've got loads of Facebook friends who love rugby, and I want to have lots of conversations with local people who love rugby. And I create a post like, oh my God, the All Blacks were cheated last night. Stinking Australians, they always cheat. like, don't you agree? Or the ref was wrong. And like 15 of them jump on and they're like, yeah, man, he was like, they were totally robbed, right? So now I'm having like conversations with local people about rugby. Well, what we do is we then say, when the conversation goes 2 or 3 beats in public comments, just move the conversation to Messenger and keep it going. Okay. So you're like, yeah, man, you're right. And now you're in Messenger. And then after a few beats there, you can say, oh, man, nice chatting to you. Like, what are you doing? How's your business going? Oh, it's going pretty good. Yeah, I'd love to have a talk with you. And so then you need a different strategy to get the conversation from Messenger to phone. But you just want to play it like a video game. Got to get people from here to here to here.
Right.
Just one level at a time.
That's smart. I mean, you're trying to connect on a personal level there, and then get the one-on-one with them, and then take it to the full personal level, which is a phone call.
Right. And if you go too fast, you fail. So it's not uncommon for me as a marketer and not really a realtor. It's sort of dubious whether I'm getting my real estate license, but I don't think they'd ever call me a realtor. Love you guys.
Business in 2020, I swear everyone's getting their license right now.
Right. Totally. One of the things that I'll get messages straight from someone I don't know in Messenger. Hey, do you know are you looking to buy a house in such and such place in Texas? I'm like, I live in California. What are you talking about? It's just a bad strategy. And then I'm like, oh, I do know someone there. Oh, would they want to buy it? Like, whoa, slow down, like build some rapport. Because the question, it's fine to ask that question. It's just the wrong timing.
Right.
We don't have a relationship yet.
Yeah, you go basically from walking down the street and asking them to marry you in the same sentence. You know,
it really doesn't work.
You got to take baby steps.
Yeah.
With the conversation. So are you, as I was saying before, is like Facebook, I swear I'm there's a couple of people that all they do is sit there and complain on there. And I'm like, can they, without unfriending them, they go away? Where I don't see their comments all the time without blocking and stuff. But then where's that friendly person that I know that I never see their post, and all of a sudden there's a comment by them? So how do I get, am I like trying to I guess the question is, the people that I never see, of 3,300 people, I don't have 3,300, comments on my Facebook feed or 3,300 conversations going across the feed. So how do you get the ones that are never like engaged on your stuff so it gets in front of them?
Very cool. That's a great question. So our system, 3 things it's built on. Attract more of the right local people. We talked about that. Number 2, engage them, nurture them organically. So your question is, how do you engage these people? They're not even seeing your post. That's right. Yeah. Yep. And so just understand the way the Facebook algorithm works, which is essentially, if I have 1,000 Facebook friends and all of you decided to post right now at the same time, bang, you post. Yep. It's not going to show me all 1,000 posts. It's going to show me about 20 to 40 posts. And the way it works is it says, well, who does Geoff normally engage with? Oh, Geoff normally engages with Todd, John, Sarah, Connie. And so they'll just give me those posts. They're trying their best to give me a good personal user experience. That's what they're trying to do. And so what we have to work out is, how can you be one of those people that is engaged with wide numbers of your Facebook friends, so that when you post, you are one of their 20 or 40 people, every single person. So how do we cheat the algorithm that way? The way to do that is to understand why and how engagement works with your content. There are lots of little cheats that people use on Facebook, but they're not sustainable. You know, like, I don't know, like they're like, if you see this post, comment, otherwise I'm unfriending you. That sort of crap. Like, it's not a sustainable strategy. It's not solving the problem. And the main problem is your content is not engaging enough. Not enough people are seeing it, liking it, commenting, and sharing it. So understanding engagement works on 3 principles. The 3 reasons why people will engage with your content. It's really kind of obvious. 1, you ask for engagement. So if your posts don't have a question mark on it, you really haven't asked people to comment. So questions are a great way of getting people's engagement. Part of the 5-day challenge we're doing, we're going to use some questions a bit. It's not uncommon for us to get people to 100 comments a post within 2 or 3 days. Because we've got content that we've tested, we know how people respond to content. So we've got like 300, 400 questions that we know have got 100 comments on someone's post. I got 1,000 comments on something earlier this year on one post.
Jeez.
Yeah. And so...
Is that in a group or on your personal page?
On my personal profile.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. But what we tend to do, as well as asking for people to comment, we also... Engagement is a big topic. I could talk for a couple hours, but we also ask people to do too much too soon. So imagine if we did just meet, and we're getting on well, but imagine if Todd, we just met in a cafe, we bumped into each other, and my first question to you was, well, man, how did you vote? What did you think of the US election? We just met. You'd be like, whoa, that's personal. That's too much. Or I asked you, like, what do you think about the plight of the humpback whale? You'd be like, I don't know anything about that. That's weird, right? And so
let's just go to and ask you what you think about the election instead.
But if I said, dude, can you survive without coffee? You'd be like, yeah or no. Like, you'd be like, people have. So we ask them to do too much. And so our engagement stays small, where you want to ask more universal, raw. You have some content that's universal, raw, anybody has an answer to. So that's one way you turn the algorithms over, because when they comment, the next time you post, you'll see it. When you post something about real estate, you have a much bigger audience. So you want to have strategies that turn your audience over. The other problem that happens, and I'll stop talking in a second, but in everyday life, and it happens on Facebook too, is that when people do comment, the people we reply to are the people that we know. That keeps your sphere small. So whenever someone you haven't seen for a while comments, go after that person. If you've got like 2 minutes in a day, respond to the stranger. Don't respond to the person you talk to all the time. That's what creates the sphere. So be stranger-centric, not narrow and like centric.
Well, I had that happen this morning. I was on, I posted some random comment, because I do post a lot of stupid or I call it comical stuff. I just, my thing was this morning, let's just have Russia finish this off and call the election like they did in 2016. And the comments like that. And this guy, George, made a comment on it. And this is the guy I met back in 2010, became Facebook friends on there or whatever. And I don't think I've engaged in a single post from him in 10 years, maybe once or twice. And I'm like, where did he come from? It was like out of the blue. So, that got his attention. Now I'm engaged. And then I went and looked at his feed and saw a couple of his things and made comments on it. And so now we'll start seeing his stuff.
Right. There's loads of ways. Like people are everywhere on Facebook. Yeah. I mean, if we make it all about us, like, why are people not commenting on our stuff? Why are they not seeing it? You can easily find 10 people you've not talked to. Go to your friend list and go comment on their stuff, start a conversation. Yeah. And now they'll see your stuff again too. So there's all sorts of ways to, like, if you just say, I want to have conversations with people I don't know, then you have far more control.
Yeah, go in there and start. Just take your list. Are you a fan of making like Facebook lists and trying to do a post directed at them?
I used to be. In fact, I had a whole training built on lists, but my understanding is that Facebook is no longer supporting lists technology-wise. So they disappear and then they come back and they're really fickle and they don't work 100%. I wish they did, but I think no.
We just scrubbed my entire Facebook group to create lists out of it. I mean, I had my VA doing it for about a month and a half. She would spend an hour or two a day, and you go through 3,300 people and scrub all their information, and now we got to go into the spreadsheet and sort it out and redo it on there. It's a process, so it's like I'm glad they're not doing it, but it's I'd like the targeted marketing that you could have done with it.
Right. No, it's very powerful and also a great way to nurture people. I love it for that. Yeah.
Now you wanted to do a screen share. You had some stuff coming up next week. I wanted to kind of dive into.
Yeah. Let me share my screen just quick here. Now, anyone who's watching, just ask questions. We'll get to them later.
Yeah.
Or during the time. So this is just really a loose graphic that I wanted to share with you. So just to explain some of the things that some of you could do right now that might help you a bunch. Can you see my screen okay?
Yeah, we got it. I can see it on my end.
Yeah. So basically in life, you have one sphere, which is all your relationships, your past clients, your leads, people the people who run the local bakery, everybody you know in your life, pretty much, all your relationships. And then we have your Facebook friends. And often these circles are not the same size. Often people have not done a very good job of saying, you know what? My Facebook friend list is the personal hub of my brand. Like it's where all my relationships that are worth anything at all to me should be gathered, right? And so the first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that these match and that you are managing your relationships as well via Facebook too. It keeps things really simple. So, especially for a lot of people who are on Messenger a lot, and you can see data on their birthdays. It's just a great way to manage all your relationships when you use the system. And it's pretty simple too, because everybody typically understands Facebook mostly. And then from there, our goals are really simple. We have two goals. And the primary goal of your Facebook work in terms of your business is to create referral partners, people who will tell other people about you, not to get transactions. If you're transactional, you're going to have a very small audience. And that's another reason why a lot of people in real estate, their engagement is very low in terms of not many people commenting or liking their posts. If you think about it, it's because like 70, 80, 90%, sometimes even close to 100% of their content is about real estate. And if you have 2,000 Facebook friends, probably 1,950 of them are not in a real estate transaction phase of their life, unless they're other agents, and then it's sort of fake engagement because they might not ever buy or refer you. So we want to make sure that our content is more about creating resonance and referral partners. So even, for example, Todd, your comment about like the election, to me, like weirdly enough, it made me laugh when you told me. I thought it was funny. And I thought, oh, we share maybe some values or humor. Like, that's awesome. So now I feel more of an affinity towards you through humor. So you're more likely to create referral partners if that's your goal rather than transactions. And then from referral partners, you're likely to generate business. Now, there are a few times you can ask people to put up their hand if they're looking for a realtor, but you just need to be careful with them. So that's the model that we want to work. We want to gather all your relationships into one place, manage them there, and create referral partners and clients from it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And this is more in depth of our model that we use. So there's three things you try and do. We're trying to help you attract more and more of the right kinds of people that will refer you or buy from you to your Facebook page. We have one gentleman who moved from Pennsylvania, actually, to Tucson, Arizona, a couple of hot states right now. And he was 59 years old, not a realtor, got his license in Tucson, and knew like 6 people. So one of the biggest problems we're trying to solve for most people, and maybe people watching this will be your problem too, is that simply not enough people know who you are and what you do and how good you are at it. Those 3 things. And what a great human being you are. Maybe those 4 things. There's not enough people. So we want to solve that problem. And so with Geoff in Tucson, he went from having 8 local friends to about 2,000 local friends who love nonprofits, were mostly older like him, who like to be generous, supported animal charities and something else. So he went from having no one know about him to 2,000 people know about him. So that's what we want, right?
You found the common ground.
Find the common ground. Find your people. And you don't know, when you send a friend request out to somebody using our methods, you're not 100% sure they're going to be someone that you're going to gel with.
Right.
But it's a good intuitive guess. You're pretty sure, you know they live in the right area, you know that it's a demographic that you normally gel with, and you know you have something in common. So it's a much better guess than just randomly sending friend requests to everybody in a local community group. That's, and then the next part is you want to engage them, which is what we kind of talked about a lot. So Geoff, who I discussed with 2,000 new Facebook friends, he posts 2 questions and 1 video a week is pretty much what he does. And he will consistently get around 200 comments on his questions and around 700-800 views on his videos. And his videos really aren't that, I mean, they're cute, but they're like him with his dog, him cooking, asking a question, sometimes talking about real estate. Occasionally he'll talk about something more valuable to him.
Okay.
But people are messaging him saying, hey, I love your videos. And when he does outreach via Messenger to people or via phone call, one of the first things they say is, I love your questions or I love your videos. Yep. So they're warm because they're seeing him all the time. And that's the last part here is like we want to then take warm relationships from Facebook and make them real in a way that's scalable. So you're not talking to a bunch of people that are wasting your time. So can we run an event, for example?
Right.
Or a Zoom call or whatever it is. And then the last part is that goal is mutual and equal. And I think that's really important for everybody here. I think I stopped sharing my screen, but I can't see myself now. It's really important. I find a lot of realtors come at relationships from a service-first background, which is good. It's great. However, if one lady who's given so many referrals, she's a great realtor, great person, and she's not getting any business back. And the problem is not that she's just not asking for it, it's that she's not established like mutual and equal relationships where you'll do anything to help them and they'll do anything to help you. And that also has to be a certain type of person as well. So you're after those kinds of relationships. And just for people, like one more thing, I guess, of value, hopefully, I would share is a mistake that people, I think, make is they feel like to get referrals, you have to ask for them, and that's it. Right. So ask for the referral. Well, I don't know anyone right now. So if you ask me 3 times, Todd. Ask me 3 times if I'll give you a referral. Do it.
Can I get a referral? Can I get a referral? Can I get a referral?
No. Like you start to get like, I get a bit resentful because I can't do it, or I get a little bit tuned out at the very least. But if you were to say, man, it seems like you know a bunch of realtors, would you mind inviting a few to my group?
Yeah.
I'll be like, sure, I can do that right now. So you want to have, when you have the right partners, mutual and equal, you want to have little ways that you can help each other, not just big ways, little ways. Because that's something, and when someone does a little action, that's how I feel like I'm part of what you're doing now.
Well, it's like it goes to the lenders, just to put them on the spot for a second. A lot of them want business from you, and don't have a way to give it back. And I asked one of our lender partners a while back, and I said, we're bringing all this business to you, making you all kinds of money. Where can you help us bring business back? And he goes, well, our model's not set up like that. Okay, fine. I'm going to go find a lender who has a model that can help bring business back, because this is a two-way street. And unfortunately, I broke the relationship. I mean, he was a good lender, but it's reciprocal business.
Right. And that's you have something of value. You just don't want to be used in any way. And that works whether you're building a relationship with an industry-related person or a local cafe owner or whatever it is. We have John Pugh in our group, and he's in our training. He did a teaching for everybody on this. He's kind of an expert in business-to-business relationships.
He did goal setting.
What's that?
Was it goal setting?
It was more on like the structure of what you give to people when you create a referral partner. Like he literally has like a little contract that he'll not necessarily send them. Maybe, I can't remember for sure. But the goal is like, if I give you this business, you have to give me at least 1 referral in the next 12 months. Like look, and chicken, I'm giving you all this stuff, man. What, how can you help me? Like, what's happening? Because I want to help you still, but I need you to help me too. Like, let's do this together.
Yeah. Well, it's like some of our lenders right now that are coming and trying to get business from us. They're not trying to get us to lunch. They're like, hey, they're people we know. We obviously are friendly with a lot of people, but you usually have your 2 or 3 that you're heavy in business with. And so these ones that are outside that are trying to come into our door said, hey, Todd, I've got this buyer I want to refer over to you. So can you take them? More than happy to. So they just referred me somebody instead of saying, hey, can I help with your budget? Or I want to take you guys to a happy hour and get to know you and we close on time, etc. No, we're going to give you business first. And then, we want business back.
Yeah, that's fine too. Like giving first is fine. You probably should always give first. You just want to hold your value as an equal person, equal business owner. And that's important. Like, you're worthy of help. And that's the way the relationship business works. Otherwise, you're gonna get pissed off eventually. So why not just get it straight at the start?
So what's the goal for next week? You got the 5 clients in 5 days. So
I'll
do we have a link we can share and try and get them into your program?
Yeah, I've got a link here. How do I pop it in?
That's a great question. Pop it in the private chat on the right side of the screen, and I will post. Or you should be able to post it in the comments.
I wouldn't let me post in the comments, but I posted it there.
Post it in the comments. We'll figure this out.
Yeah.
All right. Comments. Here we go. There we go. Hold on. Pop up. There we go. All right.
Great.
So guys, click on this, and he'll get you into the challenge for next week. I'm excited to do it. It's gonna, I think, 11 o'clock on Monday, 11 Eastern.
Yeah, 11. We're gonna do like the way that I teach too. I've done a lot of talking today. That's not well, it's sometimes normal. But what we tend to do to get the best results is I'll do a teaching for 10, 15 minutes. Then we set a timer and we actually do the stuff. Because it's better to do it while you're there and then. So I'm going to give you specific things to do next week that are going to help build relationships, and we've found have helped generate client buzz. I don't know if I can get you 5. I know one lady, we got 6 in a week. Yeah. But let's try. Even if you get 1 or fill up your pipeline before the end of the year, that's great. Let's get some energy going to helping people, to appearing in people's lives. It's really important.
I mean, this is the time to really reach out and do this stuff, because what we're doing today is going to create our first quarter results. I mean, if someone walks in the door today and says, I want to buy a house and close within a year, that's great. I got another check this year, but I got to worry about first quarter because you're always about 3 or 4 months behind the 8 ball. So if I can get stuff going on today, so I love that you're doing this right before Thanksgiving. We could take the time and spend more time studying it during that time. But, get your clients 45 days out. And so next week is going to be awesome to do that, because that'll set the standard for the first quarter of next year.
Totally.
So we're excited for this. And I know you've got some stuff that will come after the 5 days. If you guys find value in it, definitely reach out to Geoff. And he's got a whole coaching program around this. Would love to kind of get some more details on that at some point. We maybe do another show on that after we go through the 5 days and talk about the success we've had. Yeah,
very cool. Also, I assume there's a bunch of EXP people on this. Is that right?
Handful. We've got brokers from all over the country.
Well, anyone who has a team, really, or a downline. Get your agents in. You'll get you all on the same page. I had a couple of team members sign up today. There's one office in Maryland that they're just about all doing it. There's value in having alignment in how you're building relationships using social media. Okay. Just from even sharing stuff, because you all share each other's posts. It helps the algorithm, so there's a lot of value.
Nice. Okay, maybe some good stuff. I'll give this to my team right after we're done with the call.
Okay, perfect.
Cool. All right, man. Well, Geoff, I appreciate it, guys. Check it out. Check out the link and let us know if you have any questions. And reach us on Facebook Messenger.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it.